Center and the entire complex was first being brainstormed back in what, in the mid-90s?
Yeah.
Long time ago. The amphitheater was part of that plan, but due to funding limitations at the time with the Conservation Center, it just got put on the back burners until the time presented itself in which we could move forward with the project. And sad case, obviously, with passing of Leonard, but in his memory came memorial funds. And so we decided, let's bring this project back to life, talk with the family and say, yeah, great use of the funds. We started thinking, well, there was always an amphitheater here, but it was just grass surface. And we had utilized it, minimally through the years. And so we thought, well, let's do the limestone seating, maybe the patio pavers down here. And then we started thinking, well, if we're going to do this, let's do it right. So we started adding on. And so the final project cost came up to about $170,000, which we fell far cry short of. And so we went on a fundraising campaign, and the community, like many of the other projects that we do, embraced it wholeheartedly. And again, it was one of the quickest fundraisers, and albeit $170,000 in the big picture, when you look at some monstrosity buildings going up multi-million dollars, it's not that large of a project, but to us it was. And to get it funded so quickly is a testament to the support from the community. So I thank you all for donating, the grants, the private donations. You're the ones that make this happen. You saw a need for it, we implemented it, and now it's here for you. It's here for your use. So with that, I'll stop talking for a little bit. And we do have some distinguished guests that would like to make some remarks regarding Leonard, the Grimes Farm, and this facility. So with that, I'd like to introduce Iowa House Representative Mark Smith. Come on up, Mark.
Thank you, Mike, and thank everyone for coming here tonight. As I reflect on this, Leonard Grimes had a very distinctive voice, and if you ever heard that voice, you know that it was the ability to meld a Green Valley or Green Mountain, Iowa public education with a Harvard law degree, and by doing so, he could talk to every central Iowan with the knowledge and insight that one has when they're an Ivy Leaguer. Also, when you heard Leonard Grimes speak and heard that voice, you knew his passions, that he loved his wife, he loved his family, he loved the land, he loved his people. And so today we are dedicating an amphitheater so that the children of all ages can express their voices. Pablo Casals once said, "We must make this world worthy of its children." This is just one of the ways that Leonard Grimes acted to make this world worthy of its children.
Additional one now with Mayor of Marshalltown, Joel Grimm.
Thank you, Mike. He said, no, I'm done in 2 minutes, so good luck with that. You got a lawyer who likes a microphone. Is it on still? I'm here because I got a message from Carrie that she wanted me to speak. That reminds me of the time about 15, 20 years ago, she called up and asked if I would just be on a committee. That committee happened to be the fundraiser for this building, and what she meant was co-chair. And that was back in the days we were having to go all around the state to get the funds from, oh God, I forgot the name of the committee. Yeah, it was in Iowa. Michael Gardner was the chair. It was kind of fun to get to meet him. But anytime Carrie asked me something like, I now kind of wonder what's really going to be. We raised the millions of dollars, and isn't this place beautiful? It was just gorgeous. Yeah. So, it's my pleasure to be here and help enjoy the family. And I think we're going to help with my 5 minutes. Sorry about that, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. Obviously, testimonies to the dedication, conservation-minded individuals, Leonard and Mildred, and with that, to continue their legacy, We've got members of the Grimes family that would like to make some remarks. So, Carrie, was Burgess here?
No.
Okay, so.
Thank you, Mark and Joel. You three have given us a sterling remembrance of who Leonard was, and I think we need a little stand up here. I would like to close with a commercial, a thank you, and a challenge. When our parents were around, we often discussed the need for a friends group. Our mother was one of the founding members of the Friends of the Library and worked hard to add value to the library. At long last, we have started such a group, the Friends of Marshall County Conservation. You'll see some of us with our blue shirts on here tonight. And if you would like to become a member, the people in the blue shirts will be happy to help you. You can, contrary to what Joel said, you can be as active as you want to. We'll take your time, your energy, whatever you want, but if you just want to be a member with your dollars, we would love that too. All of it adds to this beautiful place. Then, as you may have seen when you entered, the Friends group will be hosting a new concert series in this hallowed amphitheater. It starts in mid-July, Wednesday the 18th, with Bob Dorr Trio +1. And the concerts will mostly be on Thursday evenings, but that one has to be Wednesday because that's when Bob Dorr could come. So they'll be at 5:30, and the staff came up with the idea of having food trucks in the parking lot, so you can come out and have a taco or whatever food truck we have that night, and bring your blanket or your cushion and sit down and enjoy the music for the evening. So watch for that to start July 18th. Okay, now, on behalf of the Grimes family, I extend a heartfelt thank you to Director Mike Stegman and the staff. All of you have done so much stuff for us. The thought, the care they took in planning and constructing this fabulous structure, the design and the materials are top notch. This will support learning and special gatherings for generations to come. I feel sure that our parents would be thrilled. We are thrilled. This brings me to the challenge. We've been given this incredible gift. Let's use it. Explore it with your children, your friends, or somebody new to town. Learn to love it as our parents did. I wasn't going to cry. And in that, learn to care for all the wild things in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie, and all for attending. Now, if we could ask the chamber ambassadors to step forward with the ribbon so we can cut it and get on with the show.
Oh, good.
This guy took over where Leonard left off. They were out working on trees today like the sun wasn't going to go down.
Roger's right here. Presentation first, Mary. I would like to present this certificate of appreciation to the Grimes family. Thank you.
I'll hold it. You just talk.
I would like to give this certificate of appreciation to the Grimes family and to the Marshall County Conservation for their efforts in making this beautiful amphitheater. It is fantastic. And we thank you very much. So you have this certificate and
one coffee mug for you guys to find out.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to hold it.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're going to cut it?
Okay, Carrie, you hold. Roger can cut. Okay, Roger, you cut.
All right.
You go ahead and cut.
Come up here.
Okay. Are we ready?
Nope, not just let him get it.
Heidi, I'm going to give it a pull. Heidi.
Ready?
Try it again. Very good.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you very much. And with the amphitheater, just as important as all of the entire facility we have here, all of the other areas that are found throughout Marshall County is the environmental education program that we outreach to you, the public at all ages, as shown here tonight. And with that, I'll introduce Emily Herring again to introduce our speaker.
Well, thank you everyone for coming out tonight. Like Mike said, my name is Emily Herring and I'm the naturalist out here. I actually became the naturalist a little over a year ago. I took Diane Hall's spot when she retired, and I've been enjoying my time here at Marshalltown Conservation. Tonight, I have the pleasure of introducing Don Becker and his son David. I met Don actually last summer at a naturalist conference, and he was teaching all of us naturalists about snakes. And so, teaching naturalists about snakes is obviously, he knows much more about snakes than I do. So I was excited to invite him out here today to introduce you all to snakes. Now, his snake that he brought, he's going to tell you and introduce you to him. And like the news all told you, it is a hands-on program. So as you listen to him and he has to tell you about a snake, make sure also you think of questions.
I've been doing reptile amphibian kind of education, public education for about 15 years now, primarily in Lynn County. I'm actually a programmer by trade, and I kind of tripped and fell into public education in that I was out catching snakes one day, because I've been into them since 4, and a group of kids were with for a field trip out in the nature center, and I walked up and go, "Do you guys want to see a snake?" I love her enthusiasm, it's great. Well, and of course they wanted to as well, and then so this happened a lot, where I was just out finding snakes and turtles and frogs and salamanders, and field trips would be out, and I'd show them. And one day Lynn County goes, "Can you come inside and maybe do this for us?" And I was like, sure, I guess I've been doing it outside enough, why not? That kind of grew from public education to doing reptile and amphibian surveys on their parks for them. I work with a project called, well, I'm the creator of a project called Herp Mapper as a programmer. We map reptile and amphibian distributions all over the world. Any sightings from the general public, not just herpetologists. We love to get input from people. We get a lot of records from places we never knew they existed and we would never even look because people stumble across them while they're out hiking. So remember that name, please, Herp Mapper. If you guys ever find snakes and stuff for salamanders, frogs, pop it on there. So we have a submission form. I'm actually now currently doing work with western hognose snakes, ornate box turtles, and yellow mud turtles at Big Sand Mound. Has anyone heard of that? Big Sand Mound property? A couple at least. It's more well known in eastern Iowa. So Big Sand Mound is a private nature preserve. It is the only place in Iowa with yellow mud turtles and the only place with western hognose snakes. So there's a lot of effort being put in to conserve them there. So one thing I found when doing conservation work though, I get asked the question a lot, and I'm going to just ask people to yell out what you think it is, and I'll listen, but what do you think the biggest conservation issue is facing snakes right now? Environment, I heard. Habitat. What? You know, the sad thing is I heard a kid answer correctly. What'd you say down here? He's not looking at me now. What'd you say was your answer? I heard you say it. Humans. The biggest conservation threat facing snakes is persecution by people. We do a lot of conservation with rattlesnakes in the state of Iowa, and the biggest problem we have is people chopping their heads off when they find them by their houses. So there was actually bounties on them. You got $2 per rattle, I think it was, or something like that, up until the early or late 70s, early 80s. And one day before public program, well, 2 days before, this guy came in to me. And this is about the calmest snake I have ever met in my life. And who's ready to be disgusted? Get that out of the way. So next time someone says, "Does he bite?" there's your answer. So Muckluck came in and was so calm. I was like, I'm going to see how he does with the kids. We're going to bring him out and play with him at the nature center. And everyone loved him. And now I think if he ever passes or somewhere, I got to find a clone of him and not ever tell anybody, because he's a bit of a celebrity around Cedar Rapids now. So let's set him up here. Let's see what is he? Muckluck is a Macklot's python, which is actually the reason for his name, is because my wife could not remember what he was and kept calling him Muckluck's python. So we stuck with it. Does anyone know what a Muckluck actually is? No. I promise it's not a sick joke. It's a shoe. It's an Eskimo shoe. So a lot of people think we named him that because people make boots out of them, and that's not the case at all. It's literally just that it name sounds similar to Macklots, and my wife couldn't pronounce it right. So we went with Muckluck, and it works really well for young kids learning to talk. They call him Muck Muck. So it worked out really well. So we found that Muckluck loves getting people over their fear of snakes. He's a great ambassador to the snake world. I bring him to preschools, and 2- and 3-year-olds play with him constantly. When I do public programs where adults are welcome too, it's hard to be afraid of a 10-foot snake when you see 2- and 3-year-olds hugging him, kissing him, trying to ride him, walking all over him. He's slithering over the shoulders, over the legs, and stuff like that. I always have at least one person get over their fear of snakes. And so I invite you, if you are afraid of snakes and you've never touched one and you thought you'd never touch one and don't want to, please come forward. He's 10 feet long. I can keep the head away from you and you can touch the tail. I will warn you, I think the tail's the worst end because he likes to poop on me. So, something interesting with Muckluck that I invite you to look for when you come up to see him up close. Muckluck has legs. A lot of people don't realize this. We actually have a species of lizard in Iowa called the glass lizard that has no legs, and I have a python with legs. So they're just leftover trait, and he doesn't really use them. They wiggle a little bit, but if you want to see them when you come up, I can point them out to you. We have, let's try to keep them centered up here, a couple smaller snakes as well. So if anyone's a little bit afraid of a 10-foot python, you want to hold this one, David? Hold him up.
I like that.
So if anyone's too afraid of Muckluck and still wants to try to touch a snake, we have a bull snake, which is a native species to Iowa. They are on decline. They're a special concern species in the state. Aside from persecution, they also are losing habitat. They're a sand prairie species, and our sand prairies go away real quick. I always tell people it's the easiest thing to bulldoze up and build on. You don't got to clear any trees, so that's why our prairies go away real fast, and the sand prairies were just rare prairies to begin with. Leche, does anyone know what leche means in Spanish?
Nope.
Did someone say milk? Did I actually hear it? Did I hear nope? Oh, you got it. Okay. I knew I heard it. I didn't say who got it. So leche means milk in Spanish, so that's why his name is Leche. Does anyone know why milk snakes are called milk snakes? That's actually what they hang out in barns. And the old wives' tale is that if you had milk snakes in your barn, your cows would go dry because they would jump up and suck the milk right out of your cows. So that's not true. They are actually a type of king snake, and they will eat other snakes. They will also eat rodents and stuff as well, but mostly other snakes. So if you don't want to touch the real big snake, and you don't want to touch the medium snake, we have a little snake too, okay? I'm probably going to leave him in the tub so we can each focus on one. And if you want to see the littlest snake, you're ready to go home already, Muffle, huh? You're not doing well for us here. Come on. Come on. He doesn't normally have stage fright. There we go. Stretch out. So with that said, who actually came to touch a big snake? I'm gonna go home then. That's not enough people. So, I am open to any questions. While we have people come up, I can take answers from the audience back. If you want to come up and ask me directly, I do a lot better with questions and answers than I do trying to come up with what I'm gonna tell you guys. You get to know a lot about different species after a while. It's hard to determine what to fit into a 1-hour presentation, to answer them. So, if you have snakes on your property you want to know something about, describe them to me. I'll try to tell you the best I can what they are. Other than that, if anyone wants to come up, we can hold Muckluck. If you guys want to get in a line, someone's arm line one way or the other, put him on your shoulders, wrap him on your face. You can put his head in your mouth if you want to. I don't care. So it looks like lines forming on this side.
Jack, do you want to come see him? Do you want to come see him?
How old is he, Jack?
Do you want to come?
So Muckluck, I used to tell people I didn't know for sure because he's full grown, but we also found out Muckluck's the largest Matlock python in the world. They're supposed to get occasionally a female get 9 feet. He's 10.5 on the conservative measurement. He might be over 11. It's hard to get a measurement out of snake. When I got him, he was only 7. So the fact that he's grown 3 feet in the short time I've had him, he's probably under 10 or right at 10 years old. So they usually stop growing after a certain time. So. Going that way, apparently. Then, turn around.
What do I do?
What do you do? Whoops. You're not being attacked. He's fine. I was just joking with you. one too. I can hold him in front of you if you want. You don't have to hold him. So if you stand ahead of me, this is one of the advantages of being tall when you're doing this with kids. Face that way. Face this way. Look at that.
Okay, look at me.
I'm thinking I should seek out a sponsorship from Dr. Pepper too. You just want to hold him? This up here? It's mostly right now. So you want to hold them up, that's up to you. Picture's a little better for this up. There you go. Absolutely.
Just so you all know, there are some refreshments inside, so if you'd like anything sweet treat or some salty snacks, there's refreshments inside.
Okay, so you take this on your shoulders up here. You take that there. If you don't want them on your shoulders, just hold this tail. How about that? You hold underneath. There you go.
All right, ready?
Here, hold on. Just a little bit. There you go.
Look at me.
So Allie's married. Probably long ago, but
No, just 2 years. I mean, she dated the guy since they were 16. And it took him 10 years to propose. And because, I mean, they were dating.
You weigh as much as Muffle.
Happy.
Put you guys on
And
the scale.
we always had a new plan.
why are you in line?
It's delightful.
Why are you in line?
You might.
I thought you'd be
In Coralville. She got her master's in library science. And she has a job in Washington Island as a librarian.
You know what, Daisy?
Oh my God!
Nice.
Our kid is an adult. It's fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
Travis is going to
All right, where do you want to sit?
How's your life?
Well,
Cool.
we just got here.
Oh yeah.
Say yes or no.
You want to?
What? Oh, so you want him on your head, right? No! I heard you say I want him on my head. I heard it. Or by 10, by how fast he's grown since I've got him. 80? So it's not a snake that's studied a lot in the wild to know for certain how long, and they haven't been in captivity that long to really say. So, how you guys want to hold him? Around your neck?
Are you going to get
All right,
with
so do this. Right underneath there.
You going to get in there with Sissy?
Whoa! Is he heavy? Yeah. You think he's what? Well, that's because you're not holding most of him.
Hi everybody, I'm Jeremiah with Marshall County Conservation. Today we're going to talk about our maple syrup making process here. First things off, we got to start with some maple trees. You got to tap those anywhere from late January, early February into late February. Get yourself some sap. We're tapping sugar maples up at Grammar Grove and collecting the sap from up there and then hauling it down here. And here's kind of an example of an evaporator that we used last year. It's kind of something that anybody can make pretty easily. All you need to get is like a stovepipe or a stove kit from Tyson's, Menards, anywhere in town. And then get some, we use some buffet style pans to put the sap into and boil it down. And you need a 55-gallon barrel and some chimney pipe. And it's put your sap in the pans, load firewood in, and it starts boiling it. And we could get about 40 gallons of sap boiled down in a day last year at the most. So it's a little slower process, but if you only want to make a little bit, it's perfect. 40 gallons of sap will give you the 1 gallon of maple syrup. So, and that's kind of the old way. And then now, this year we upgraded to a newer evaporator system here. And with this system, we can boil down up to 30 gallons of maple sap in an hour. So it's a lot more efficient. You can cook down a lot more. And with this system, how we start it is over there on the wall. You can see we have a filtration system set up. So we got a filter that we run all the sap through, and then run it up into the holding tank up top. And then we have a hose that comes down into the back side to the evaporator. There's a float box on this side, and then the sap runs through into this pan. And inside that pan, there's a bunch of flues in there where all the sap is, then all your heat from down below can get up and contact as much metal as possible, so it just has a faster rate of boil. And as your sap works its way through here, it'll come down into this float box, then it'll work its way back into the syrup pan. And in this pan there's three channels that the syrup will flow through, and as the sap turns into syrup, it by densities or magic, it flows and it just works its way through this whole system, and then it comes out this other side. If we cook it long enough and have enough sap to push all the syrup through, we can get sap right off of this machine. And yeah, this is a lot more efficient. You cook down a lot more sap, but then you also need a lot more sap versus the old 55-gallon barrel style. So the process is really pretty simple. We've been cooking down here a couple days here already in late February, early March. The trees kind of shut off on us, so we're kind of at a standstill right now. But in a nutshell, that's kind of how the evaporator works. And we got our fire door up front where you load it full of firewood. The more wood you can shove in it, the hotter fire you're going to get, the more you're going to boil down, and the faster all your sap's going to boil down. So if anybody's looking to get into maybe making their own maple syrup, you can go ahead and give us a call here at the Nature Center, and we can help you either set up a system or teach you to identify maple trees if you want to do it yourself. So it's a fun little hobby to have. Last year we started out, and this year we just expanded from 30 taps to 150. It's just kind of a fun hobby to have.
Yeah, look behind you.
You're welcome. Now, Charlie, do you play a musical instrument?
Yeah.
What do you play? Oh, very good. Hi.
Hi, this is the first year for playing the flute, so Grandma's really...
Oh, I bet she is. Thank you. Hey, you want some syrup? Oh, here comes your customer.
Good morning. Would you like 2 pancakes or 3?
2's fine.
Okay.
That was not the answer I expected.
Somewhere's on the table, so
The ladies will be around with beverages.
Perfect. Okay. There's ahead of you.
So this is the good stuff.
This is liquid gold right here. This is what you want. This is what you came for.
That's what I came for.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank
Enjoy.
you.